during which she says she was drugged and sexually assaulted.
She said she woke up and to find her dress around her waist, and that he was fondling her breast, and that she had red label too, that was his basketball, that was his outfit. And that was the story. What do I do with this? Give me my normal life back. But of course, this is my wife and somebody raped her. So I was, and he came out again. And I had a new battle.
Even though he experienced the damages, Tracy was not gone to the police. And bizarrely, he waited several months before telling Michael about the incident.
I felt pretty dishonored to be left in the dark by that. If somebody sexually assaults you, it's not your fault. Why would you?
Tracy supposedly has victim over and over and over and over. It seems like every man who comes into Tracy's life has abused her, abused her children, abused her, mistreated her in some way. Okay, this is either the most unlucky human being in the history of the world in front of me right now, or this is a liar in front of me.
And Michael isn't exempt from Tracy's powerful protection for rival. He complains that he feels neglectful and overly controlling.
He was very possessive. When she would come over, because she said, oh, he's playing video games downstairs and he's down there for 3 hours. If I got lonely, so I came over. She would be in the house by me, and he would call, when you're coming home, when you're coming home. Wherever she couldn't go anywhere. Tracy has people who adamantly defend her. And not only does she paint herself to be the victim, but she creates elaborate stories about how other people have hurt her. And she's just been this sweet, innocent person in the world.
The Trump famous relationship is remarkably friendly, especially when Michael is herself into the home.
One thing that's painful in that the first time was that she was a model of black velvet dresses. And that she would do these modeling gigs, and there was always an short black velvet dress, but never got a paycheck for it.
If this marriage is to survive, he and Tracy need a fresh start. In 1998, the couple decided to leave Chicago and start again in a small Iowa town called Early.
It was pretty much God and I had a map of how it came to be in early Iowa. For the people of early Iowa.
By the year 2000, there was 2 children together, giving Tracy's son a new brother and sister. Michael's business is flourishing, and the family is content.
The move from Chicago to early was just a bad thing for me. So many stresses in my life. And it was away from what I thought to be unhealthy.
But his optimism quickly faded. The family was about to discover that a huge
He said there was a shooting in the house. Someone tried to kill Mommy.
Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks Vapors. Easy to apply for the whole family. Vicks Vapor Stick. And try Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors.
Yet another toothpaste that does not whiten. Girl, this one works.
Basic toothpaste stops at the top. Crest goes deeper to dissolve the bonds that hold stains to teeth for whiter teeth in one day. Crest.
Cybersecurity roles are growing fast, but opportunity doesn't wait. You've got to be ready for it. At WGU, you can earn your degree online, gain up to 16 certifications, and graduate with skills employers look for.
My boss is leaning on me for designing the security space. No one else at work knows what I know. They don't have the same certifications.
Plus, you may qualify for a $6,000 cybersecurity scholarship. Learn more at wgu.edu.
From our lush reds to our balanced whites, we pour our heart into every bottle of Josh Cellars, so you can share your love with every glass. Bring more to every moment with Josh Sellers.
Nobody likes a cracked windshield.
What was that?
No, but you can go to SafeLight.com and get it fixed now and pay later. Awesome. SafeLight can come to you for free. Don't wait. Get fixed now and pay later at SafeLight.com.
SafeLight repair, SafeLight replace.
I've never let a little fear get in my way, and nothing's ever gonna keep me away from you.
I'm Nancy. I want weed. I have an even bigger family here. I am home.
We will get to you. Meantime, people are trying to die in here. Have a seat.
Did they have science projects when you were in 3rd grade?
When Dad was in the 3rd grade, we didn't have science.
It's a winner.
Tracy Richter and Michael Roberts are proving to be popular in small-town Iowa. Neighbors are unaware of their checkered history. Tracy's ongoing custody battles with her first husband, John, the sexual assault claim against a dentist, and her alleged affairs in Chicago. Mona Weedy, a local real estate agent, has no idea that her life will be tragically transformed by her new neighbors.
They seemed very, very friendly. You know, they were just, very pleasant people, outgoing, kind, considerate.
Mona takes a job working for Michael's internet business. The marital tension is impossible to ignore.
They would always, be talking about the other. Michael would say, I love Tracy, but... And then Tracy would be in a conversation with me and she'd say, well, I really love Michael, but... And I'm going, okay.
Ever the Good Samaritan, Michael offers to help Mona's troubled and unemployed teenage son, Dustin.
Michael told me, well, how about if I just kind of take Dustin under my wing and, we can invite him to do some stuff with us. And I'm like, great, wonderful. I mean, that would really be nice. They just kind of went out and rode around and talked a little bit.
It's not long before Mona sees the full extent of their increasingly dysfunctional relationship. One day, Tracy discovers that a bad business deal has cost them thousands of dollars.
And Tracy comes storming in the back door. She was just stomping and rampaging and cursing and yelling at Michael. And Michael looked at me and he says, I'm gonna have to excuse you. I'm gonna ask you to go home now. And I said, no problem, not my business. So I just got up and gathered my things and I left. Well, the next day Michael called and told me that he had spent the night in jail. And I'm like, what?
She started literally kicking her boots through both the drywall on both sides. It would come right through. And she was doing this right over a 220-volt heater. So I put my arms around her and pulled back because I actually thought she was going to electrocute herself. And throw her to the floor. I didn't drop her to the floor. I actually laid her down. And then I stepped back because she was hurting me.
An hour later, local police receive a call from Tracy and Michael's home.
And then red and blue lights outside. And that was it. Police officers, guns drawn. I came to the front door. So, what's up, guys? I said, put the child down, put the child down. I was taken away.
Very much like what happened with John, where there was this explosion of anger. She starts going crazy. She's kicking the wall. She seems to be seeing red. He's having a hard time getting her to focus. This is definitely a pattern.
Meanwhile, Tracy's ex-husband, John Pittman, is pressing his case for custody of their son.
She hadn't behaved well as a co-parent at that point, and she was going to have problems in the Illinois court. That was number one. She had made a second abuse allegation that had failed, and obviously things are falling apart at home with her and Michael because they got into a fight, and he ended up in jail.
Custody disputes, allegations of abuse, and a sexual assault case should provide enough drama for any married couple. But what happens next turns this drama into a tragedy.
I was supposed to contact Tracy about some work that she had for Dustin. She goes, oh, we've just got a whole bunch of copies for him to make. She said, just send him down in the next day or two. And I'm like, okay.
Later that day, Mona receives a horrifying telephone call.
My nephew called me on my cell phone, and he had told me something really, really bad had happened at my friend's house down the street. And the house is all taped off, and there was a fatality, but he goes, I don't know who. And I just personally thought Michael had shot Tracy, or Tracy had shot Michael. And my husband goes, I think Dustin's car is at the Roberts. I'm just like, I want to see my son. I want to see my son. And they're like, you can't. You need to go home.
Tracy's mother, Anna, hears the news from her 11-year-old grandson.
At first he was calm and he goes, Grandma? And I said, yeah. He said there was a shooting in the house. Someone tried to kill Mommy.
2 men had broken in, tried to strangle Tracy. She'd managed to get a gun and kill one and the other got away.
December 2001. The Roberts family home in Early, Iowa is a scene of turmoil and tragedy. According to Tracy, who was at home with the kids, 2 men entered the house and attacked her violently. Tracy shoots one of them dead, and the other escapes. The dead man turns out to be a familiar face at the Roberts home, Dustin Weedy.
I just looked at them and I said, is my son here? And they go, yes. And I'm like, is he dead? And they go, yes. It was just like, you got to be kidding me.
My blood froze. It was this crazy world that I'd entered into just got a whole lot crazier.
Family and investigators try to piece together this horrific chain of events.
She heard someone coming downstairs, and she thought it was Michael coming home early.
Saw 2 men coming up the stairs, didn't recognize them.
She says, I just turned with the baby, and I start running towards the bedroom.
Ran to the boys' room, handed my daughter to one of the boys, was pulled back by a ponytail, closed the door while being pulled back, was strangled, fell unconscious.
Tracy says the attackers tried to strangle her with pantyhose.
From what I understand, when Tracy woke up, she pushed herself back, and they hit the wall, and she got away.
She got up, ran to the room, got underneath the bed, was able to get a gun out.
And then she just lay there between the bed and the wall and just started firing in the direction. And then she heard running down the stairs.
When the police arrive, they find Mona's son, Dustin, dead in a pool of blood. The second intruder, whose identity is unknown, has apparently escaped. In the days following, Mona Weedy tries to understand this devastating tragedy.
None of it made sense. And then as the police are starting to ask us questions, I would ask questions. Well, was the house broke into? No. I'm like, my son parked right in front of their house under their security light. Did he have any weapons? No. Did he have a mask? No. Did he have gloves on? No. And there was no forcible entry. But he went there to rob him. I'm like, that don't make any sense.
It also doesn't make much sense to the police.
The story seemed bizarre. There didn't really seem to be a motive for the 2 men to be in the house. They decided to maybe go in a house and steal some guns or steal some jewelry or maybe even attack Tracy sexually. But the problem was every kind of corner that they turned led to a dead end. Dustin didn't have any friends. Dustin didn't really want anything from the Roberts other than to be their friends.
Tracy's not short on enemies. Could one of them have hired or persuaded Dustin to invade the Roberts family home? Everyone's got a theory. Michael's first thought is that the dentist, Dr. Laspiza, who allegedly drugged and sexually assaulted his wife, is involved.
3 days before, we were in Chicago. We were ready to go to trial with this guy, a jury trial with this guy, for the alleged rape. I said, you have to look for an Chicago, an Illinois number plate. It's got to be. I just knew it was Laspiza.
Anna suspects Michael. She feels he reacted strangely on the day of the shooting.
He was so cold. I mean, the look on his face, his eyes, I mean, it was scary almost to the point. And he didn't really ask any question.
Tracy points to the acrimonious custody dispute with her ex-husband, John.
And every time I would demonstrate how Dr. Laspiza was the obvious suspect in this, she would shoot it down and would bring it back to Dr. Pittman.
According to Anna, Tracy is desperate to find out the motives behind the attack.
She just couldn't figure out why, and all she kept asking was why. She said, all I want to do is find out why.
Mona does not believe for a minute that her son Dustin was killed in self-defense.
We didn't know what happened, or why, or how. We really thought that, Dustin walked in on something, seen or learned something he wasn't supposed to, and they had to kill him. And then we were saying they, meaning Michael and Tracy. The thought did come up, was Tracy trying to seduce my son, and Michael came home and caught it and shot him and killed him. But, I seriously, in the beginning, thought Michael was using Tracy and making her come up with this story, and, she's this heroic mother that's saving her children.
Amidst the fear and suspicion, the residents of Early, Iowa are unaware that police have stumbled on a crucial piece of evidence, a notebook.
The notebook was the centerpiece of the case, the notebook that was found in Dustin Weedy's car.
Filled with Dustin's sloppy handwriting, the notebook backs up Tracy's theory that her ex-husband is involved, and the police believe the notebook is genuine. Dustin writes that he was hired as a hitman by a mysterious fellow named JP, Dr. John Pittman. It reads, JP wants me to get or force his ex, TR, to kill her son Bert and then commit suicide. And if that plan fails, plan B is to make it appear as though TR had committed the murder of her son and then committed suicide. It is damning evidence. Tracy's first husband becomes the primary suspect. But meanwhile, a deadly plot is taking shape that will put her second husband in grave danger.
I took her back 3 times. And then in March, she tried to kill me.
You guys okay back there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hands-free highway driving for a hands-on life. Ford Blue Cruise.
It's the last call for clearance at Lazy Boy. We're clearing everything out store-wide. Get 2 great cheers for one low price plus up to 50% off clearance. All the comfiest Lazy Boy furniture is all on sale during the last call for clearance. Save up to 50% with deals direct from our factory to your Lazy Space. Get our best offers on your favorite Lazy Boy furniture. Hurry! Deals like these won't last. Lazy Boy. Long live the lazy.
That was so
What are you doing? I got parking covered. I booked with Spot Hero. With Spot Hero, you can easily find and book parking spots wherever you're headed.
That's a game plan that I can live on.
Odds are you're an expert about the things you love. But when the people you love need expert care, trust the highly skilled healthcare system 9 out of 10 Indiana doctors have chosen for their patients' care. Indiana University Health, no matter the odds.
What are you doing? I forgot to renew my passport, so I'm taking my trip online. You need Gov Plus.
verify your info for documents like passport, pre-check, automatic renew, and are replaced if lost or damaged. Really? Yeah. They even do other documents like birth certificates and social security cards. I actually just used it to change my address. Cool. Wait, change your address? I'm moving out.
Dustin Weedy has been shot dead by Tracy Richter in an apparent act of self-defense. Dustin's handwritten notebook suggests that Tracy's first husband, Dr. John Pittman, is involved. But lead investigator Trent Billida has some doubts.
I still have yet to find anyone to believe that a nationally recognized plastic surgeon would have decided to hire Dustin Weedy as an assassin for Tracy. That it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense that they would know Dustin. It doesn't make any sense that if they wanted Tracy to die, that they would ask Dustin to do it.
I remember hearing something from someone that I was being implicated in. I thought, well, how ridiculous is that? But what else is new?
Dustin's mother, Mona Weedy, refuses to believe he wrote the journal of his own free will.
They asked me if my son journaled, and I'm like, no. I said, not Dustin, he hates to write. We barely get him to do his schoolwork, let alone for Dustin to journal.
Investigators begin to wonder if Tracy forced Dustin to write in the notebook in an attempt to set up her ex-husband.
She was going through another custody dispute with John Pittman, and John Pittman was the guy she hated most in the world. And there's no court in the world that's going to give custody to a guy that's accused of a murder for hire.
The notebook is kept secret from the public, the press, and all the potential suspects. Police believe that anyone who has knowledge of the journal could be complicit in the death of Dustin Weedy.
The investigators were waiting to see who was going to come forward and start talking about the notebook.
Meanwhile, Tracy and Michael's marriage, already on the rocks, is held together by the slender thread of the Dustin Weedy shooting.
It gave me a passion, it gave me something to focus on, and allowed me to make excuses for Tracy's behavior. I thought that there was going to be follow-up attacks because I still thought that Pittman and all this video or somebody's involved, so I'm hyper-vigilant. I was living in a war zone.
Tracy's obsession with John Pittman and the custody dispute continues. And Michael, well, he's about to get a real wake-up call.
I'd caught Tracy in another affair late 2003, early 2004. And I took her back 3 times. And then in March she tried to kill me.
He now realizes that Tracy was trying to drug him with sedatives in order to kill him.
You have to understand that I was under a systematic drugging campaign. Best I can estimate 2, maybe 3 weeks. I mean, I was in some sort of narcotic psychosis, and I went to sleep in the car, but I didn't that she'd started the engine and was trying to kill me with carbon monoxide.
I don't know a good way to describe their marriage or what went on in that house other than it's just strange.
I was just stuck, and I didn't think I had a choice. I didn't realize, because you put a frog in cold water and start boiling it, the frog will never try jumping out, it'll boil to death. That was me.
He saw these things, it was getting hotter and hotter, and he just acclimated and justified and explained. And then the next thing he knew, boom, there was an explosion.
What can happen sometimes is that a person who is inclined to give another a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth chance can end up enabling that person to be out there endangering people much longer than they should.
When Michael finally does go to the police, he can't persuade them his life is in danger.
I'm the guy. It's usually the guys that do the abuse.
Fearing for his life, Tracy's second husband finally jumps out of the boiling water. He changes the locks and files for divorce. With the second marriage over, Tracy tries to turn suspicion away from John Pittman and towards Michael.
Michael Roberts was never a suspect in Tracy's eyes, right up until the day they got divorced. Whoever she hated the most was responsible for the attack.
In wrongful death lawsuit against Tracy, but she can't afford the legal fees. Special Agent Trent Villida never believes Tracy's claim of self-defense. In 2010, 9 years after the fatal shooting of Dustin Weedy, he persuades the new county attorney, Ben Smith, to reopen the investigation.
There was just a lot of things that jumped out at me even in the first hour that I really spent some time on it that just did not add up. My first inclination was, well, what are you not telling me about this? Where's the dog in this thing? There has got to be, something that's just impossible, an impossible obstacle or hurdle. So many questions that I'd go to sleep thinking about it, and I'd wake up thinking about it.
They narrow down the list of potential conspirators. Police find no evidence that the dentist, Dr. Laspisa, is involved. The first husband, John Pittman, has an alibi. That leaves the second husband, Michael, and Trent's prime suspect, Tracy herself. With Ben on his side, Trent decides to take a chance. He engages Tracy in an email conversation.
Tracy was only going to communicate me if she thought I was on her side. I told her I was in charge of this multi-agency task force. We were going to discover the identity of the second attacker. Now, I didn't say I believe there was a second attacker, and I know in the back of her mind she knows there wasn't one, but as with any suspect who wants the police to believe them, I knew she would try to become cooperative.
As the emails go back and forth, Tracy starts to become more talkative, and she gets sloppy. Tracy brings up the notebook, the same notebook found in Dustin's car and kept a closely guarded secret by the police for 10 years. They know that anyone who mentions it may be complicit in Dustin's death.
She said, Michael Roberts had a premonition from God that Mona would find a notebook that would allow them to sue John Pittman.
Then, Tracy Richter makes a colossal slip-up.
I just basically told her I was going to go talk to Michael Roberts and John Pittman and asked her if she would describe them for me. The most amazing thing happened. The one paragraph she used to describe John Pittman was basically paragraph 5 from Dustin's pink notebook, almost an exact quote. For me, that was a huge turning point. That was her saying, in her own words, what was in the notebook. I think that Tracy knew the longer she spoke with me, the worse it was starting to look for her. So I think she needed to end it somehow.
But Villida needs more. He needs proof that Tracy knew about the notebook at the time of Dustin's death. There's one witness that may be able to help. A close friend of Tracy, Mary Higgins. If she knows about the notebook, she would have heard it directly from Tracy.
Trent had always told me that Mary Higgins, she knows something, and I had got to know her, met her a couple of times. I guarantee you, Trent, she knows nothing. And I go out there, she does not want to talk. She doesn't want to talk about it, get past it, you'll never catch her. And then I said something, we think that we, found something that can link her to this. And she told me, you mean that stupid pink notebook? And I almost got sick when she said it. So, Mary Higgins, huge. I mean, absolutely time for that. Once we had Mary Higgins testimony, that was the case.
Finally, 1.5 years after Dustin Weedy's death, Tracy Richter is charged.
You're not going to take any length off, really. You're just going to clean it up.
At the trial, Mary testifies that Tracy told her about the notebook soon after the killing. The prosecution argues that Tracy convinced Dustin to write the diary and then shot him dead in an attempt to set up her ex-husband.
There's speculation that maybe she lured him up there, promising him sex for writing the notebook, or Dustin loved computers, so maybe she promised him a job with the company, or it could be as simple as she described John Pittman as a child molester, and Dustin would help out the family by further away from Dr. Pittman.
People, say, oh, she's going to lose child support.
She didn't care about child support. She cared about winning. She cared about beating Dr. Pittman. You know, that's it. That's all it ever was.
On November 7th, 2011, the jury finds Tracy Richter guilty of first-degree murder. She is sentenced to life in prison. Tracy still maintains her innocence, as does her family.
They say that I just can't accept. And I said, I can accept it if it's true, but I know it's not true. And I'm going to fight, and I don't care. I'm never going to give up to prove that she's innocent.
Look at the lives that have been wrapped up around her and the people who got close to her and what's happened to them. Between me and Michael and the dentist and all these people whose lives have almost gotten destroyed by her. Is that coincidence? I mean, you know, that's a heck of a coincidence.
She got first-degree murder, life in prison, without parole. It's true, it's real, it happened. That part is done, it's over with.
I hope Mona knows how deeply sorry I am. Not only did I bring her son into the orbit of a monster,
like that.
I defended that monster, and I insulted her son after he was dead. And for that, I'm very, very sorry.
Zepbound may help in your weight loss journey. Once weekly Zepbound helps adults with obesity lose weight and keep it off. People taking Zepbound lost up to 48 pounds. And there are multiple savings options available, even if you don't have insurance.
Don't take if allergic to it, or if you or someone in your family had medullary thyroid cancer or multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2. Tell your doctor if you get a lump or swelling in your neck. Stop Zepbound and call your doctor if you have severe stomach pain or a serious allergic reaction. Severe side effects may include inflamed pancreas or gallbladder problems. Tell your doctor if you experience vision changes, depression, or suicidal thoughts before scheduled procedures with anesthesia. If you're nursing, pregnant, plan to be, or taking birth control pills. Taking Zepbound with a sulfonylurea or insulin may cause low blood sugar. Side effects include nausea, diarrhea, and vomiting, which can cause dehydration and worsen kidney problems.
If this is clicking for you, ask your healthcare provider about once weekly Zepbound and check your coverage today at zepbound.com.
Leo's working hard, growing. Pampers is working hard, keeping him dry. Only Pampers Swabbers has a Keep Dry liner to keep him comfortably dry. Pampers, behind every baby.
Oh, now this guy's going that way. Now I'm getting the lay of the land.
Valets can be a big test for a young homeowner turning into their parents.
There's an overflow lot somewhere in the vicinity.
If the garage is full, they go to the auxiliary.
He said if the garage is full, they'd go to the overflow
I
lot.
heard him. I was right here. Let's just stand quietly.
I bet you guys have driven some great cars, huh?
Progressive can't protect you from becoming your parents, but we can protect your home and auto when you bundle with
I
us.
think you might have brought the wrong car. We had the red convertible.
All southern town.
I was probably a little jealous of him because he had a beautiful wife, 3 fabulous kids.
But over time, the illusion crumbles.
Their life was seeing the front of a beautiful house, but the backyard is a mess.
Beneath this perfect facade lies a dangerous mix of sexual obsession and violence that will destroy everything they have.
It was just total shock.
There is no comprehending it.
Love may be blind and marriage bliss, but divorce is murder. In 1983, Craig Kaler is in his junior year of engineering at Kansas State University when he meets beautiful first-year student Karen Lee Hetrick. Karen's younger sister, Lynn Denton, remembers the young couple falling madly in love.
Their relationship grew and blossomed while she was at school. He came to our house to visit the family and was excited to see them, and his big sister coming home and woo, had a boyfriend, and I just remember her happy.
Craig is at the top of his class.
He was so smart. he is just super smart and successful in his field, excelled in everything academic.
When Craig graduates, he's offered an engineering job in Colorado. After dating for a year and a half, Karen leaves school and marries Craig. The couple moved to Colorado to pursue Craig's career. They seem happy and even give birth to their first child, a little girl they name Emily. Their marriage appears flawless. Shortly after the move, Karen's mother spends a weekend with them and notices some unsettling behavior from Karen.
My mother had made the comment that she would hop up and serve him whenever he would suggest. My mother had mentioned that she thought it could be problematic, that it could be an issue.
Despite early concerns, in the years that follow, Craig and Karen seem happy and welcome 2 more children into the family, their daughter Lauren and son Sean. In 1999, 17 years into their marriage, an opportunity comes that Craig cannot pass up. He's offered the prestigious position of Director of Utilities in the conservative town of Weatherford, Texas. The Kahlers lose no time in making Weatherford their new home. Karen heads up numerous community-related organizations, including the local Mom Group. Karen's good friend Leslie Edwards describes Karen as a key member of Weatherford society.
She was really great at organizing, and in the community she was big. I mean, she was just a way of pulling people together.
Weatherford resident Sherry Coles and Karen become close when their kids become best friends.
If she decides to do anything, it's either full out or she didn't do it at all. So whenever she decided that she would be president of the Moms Club, she was full out president of the Moms Club, organizing things, making sure things happen, getting people involved.
Sherry's daughter, Jamie Coles, is Emily's and Lauren's friend and bandmate.
Emily and Lauren and I had a band. It was called Days Off. We played a lot of places in Weatherford, and we basically got our version of Small Town famous.
They were practicing one day at our house, and Karen came in to pick up Emily, and she sat back and she listened to them for a while.
I've never seen the parking lot so full before.
I
know. How's it going?
And she was always there at band practice to
I'm on YouTube live, so.
push forward.
Gotcha.
She
Okay.
was always looking for new ways for us to play.
For his part, Craig is described by his neighbor Norman Edwards as hardworking.
We'll start talking about crazy stuff.
To me, Craig was
Okay.
just a normal guy. He liked to play baseball. We played baseball with the kids. He loved to take his son fishing. He even taught him how to fly fish, hunting. He bought a go-kart.
Craig is very much a provider for the family. He really took that as a big responsibility.
You want it where it's straight or you want curls?
That was really, really important to him.
He was a regular, dad.
What wasn't so regular were the restrictions Craig placed on Karen. She has a strict allowance, and Craig goes through all her receipts.
Even
Curl
though
on it in or
there's
bumped on it?
plenty of income coming in, everything that she purchased, whether it be for the family, the kids, or for herself, had to be accounted for. It was everything: clothing purchases, grocery purchases, everything.
Karen's friends soon notice that something even stranger is happening at the Kahler household.
Well, we could never call the house up right. The first time I did, she grabbed the phone and was whispering, and I said, "Karen?" Because it was like 8 o'clock or just a little after 8. And she goes, "I can't have any calls after 8 because Craig and I have to be in the bedroom at 8:30 because we have sex every night at 8:30 and it's
Cut it out.
expected."
Just about everyone knows about this rule.
Boy, if you ever get away from me,
She had
okay?
expectations of her.
What are you
every
watching?
night. Everybody
Murder
neighbors knew it.
TV, girl. I don't even know.
I should have known from everybody in the bedroom.
Right.
Okay. And it seemed odd, but they were happy with it, so who am I to criticize?
Karen was never, it was like, oh, gotta
That's
call Craig,
crazy.
or oh, gotta tell him where I am, or anything like that. But some people in controlling relationships have to do.
We're almost
Pastor.
done.
Trying to manage my
What
niece's
if you don't
birthday
feel
party
like
list.
having intercourse that day or sex?
How old
with
is
your
she
husband?
turning?
Girl, 5, believe
It's
it or
just
not.
been
Oh
like
my
learning
God,
a long
I
time
know.
ago. It makes my life a lot easier to do it. I said, well, what if you feel that? What if you're sick? She goes, I better be on my deathbed.
Forensic psychologist Brian Russell and psychotherapist Stacy Kaiser believe that the Kahlers have created a set of unrealistic expectations for their marriage.
I think that people often start out in relationships and marriages doing things that are simply unsustainable for the long haul.
Karen and Craig had very traditional, stereotypical roles initially, where Karen really deferred to him, his needs, his wants, his rules, and that worked for her at the beginning. But eventually, if that's not really who she is, a completely passive person, then something's gotta give.
Their perfect life is closing in on Karen, and she starts to look for a way out.
Donnie was an escape. She was an escape from the family stress. She was a safe place.
So no length, just clean. Who is this calling me?
Craig is a successful engineer. Karen is busy running a mom's group and the kids' neighborhood
Feels good?
band.
They were the
No, I bump it for
Leave It
you.
to Beaver family. They were the perfect little sitcom family.
They had the perfect house. They lived in the new addition. He had the perfect job. It was something every wife would want.
Craig and Karen are so good at keeping up appearances that no one notices the cracks in the veneer. In reality, their relationship is on the brink.
I was over for coffee, and she had mentioned that Craig was asking her to do something in the bedroom, sexually, that she was not going to do.
Karen finds Craig's demands increasingly strange and unbearable.
It was because he wanted to bring a third person
He
in,
is just a sick person.
and he just wanted to watch.
Ooh.
When you get into a marriage, you form sort of a contract. Not just a marriage contract, but a contract of how your relationship is going to go. Who's gonna take out the trash? How often are you gonna have sex? But what I see happening over and over again in relationships is that oftentimes one person wants to change the contract. And most of us don't have the skills to sit down and say, hey, look, I don't wanna do it this way anymore.
Karen decides she needs an outlet and sets her sights on getting a personal trainer at a local gym. Craig won't give Karen money for the membership, and so she has to raise the money on her own.
She'd make cakes for people and get enough money and get herself a personal trainer. That way, there was no accounting for the money.
Before long, she's a gym regular. Craig accepts her new interest as long as she's home on time to take care of the kids. Karen totally throws herself into working out and is soon hired as a fitness instructor. Then, she meets a woman who will change her life forever. Her name is Sunny Reese. She's a beautiful fitness instructor at the gym, and she and Karen become inseparable.
Their interests were obviously similar. They were both interested in fitness, and they were doing the same kinds of work and passionate about the same kinds of things.
Over time, a more intimate liaison between the two women develops.
Sunny was an escape. She was an escape from the family stress, escape from the marital stress, and she was a safe place.
It would be really, really hard to live with a person who was that controlling that much of the time. And I think she was trying to figure out how she was going to give herself some sort of release and make herself feel better.
An unfortunate amount of the time, I don't think people necessarily go out in search of a new romantic partner. They go out in search of social support. But they create a risky situation as they do that and end up in an extramarital affair.
When the neighbors find out later about the affair, there's endless speculation about whether it was Karen or Craig who instigated the lesbian relationship.
There was different opinions, there was different stories, there was stories that were just so far out there, and then there were stories that were right on. And if someone came to me with a story, I corrected them. That's not how it happened. Craig initiated this, not Karen.
Some people believe Craig initially encourages Sonny and Karen to be intimate because he wants to watch them have sex.
He encourages them to have their girl trips, their girl weekends. He encourages their relationship to grow.
I gotta make sure it's not gonna fly.
Strange. Karen told me that this was her reward for being a good wife and mother for all these years. I thought that was awfully odd and inappropriate. Something was definitely wrong within the marriage.
Others contend that Karen introduced Craig to Sonny and that he was trying to include himself in Karen's new relationship.
I've been told, I don't know directly, that Craig was completely aware of the relationship and that he was perhaps interested in being part of it.
I always think that neighbors and friends think they know a lot about what's going on in someone else's relationship. But the truth is, most of us know very little. Ask yourself what your neighbors really know about you. When I hear neighbors and friends recounting stories, what I know is that it's their perception combined with what they think that they heard.
Karen told me she fell in love with her. I asked her, do you love her? And she said, I do. She fills the void that Craig doesn't fill. Did I want to fall in love with her? No. Was my intention to fall in love with her? No. Am I a lesbian at birth? No. This is a choice. I've chose to be a lesbian, and I love Sonny.
I think that there's a possibility
It's the same
that
woman
she
who
is a
just said she was being
homosexual
forced to have
and was
sex.
not in touch with that
Yeah.
because she was young when she met him. Or because
She is.
believed in sort of the illusion of family and felt like she needed to put those feelings aside and go have a husband and children. Generally speaking, I don't believe that you just wake up one morning and become a lesbian.
Some people
Sonny
do.
and Karen's relationship, initially accepted by Craig, and maybe even created by him, is now out of his control. He is perturbed about it, but totally helpless.
Craig was getting a little jealous because of, I guess, how close they were getting, and he knew Karen was falling in love with her. He had a plan for what he wanted this relationship to be like, and it didn't go that way, and it kind of blew up in his face.
The conservative town of Weatherford still has no idea about the love triangle that is unraveling next door.
I think that Craig and Karen are master illusionists. Despite the tensions that they have
Your
going
hair
on at
looks
home,
so healthy,
they're able to present this
girl.
front of
Let's take
perfection
this
and
out so you
happiness
can see
to
it
the point that
without
all of their friends and neighbors think that they're literally the perfect family that everyone would
Yeah, that
want to
looks
be.
so good.
I've made the analogy that their life was like seeing the front of a beautiful house. Gorgeous.
Yeah,
Everything's
looks
perfect,
really
immaculate
My
in its
hair
place.
grew a lot more when I got it
Spectacular.
like
But the
trimmed while
backyard
it
is
was
a mess.
straightened.
Yeah, it
So
does.
whatever everybody
It grows a
sees
lot
is
better
awesome.
that
But
way.
the stuff you don't see was a complete wreck.
When a job opening comes up in Columbia, Missouri, Craig takes it. It's an opportunity to get Karen away from Sonny and from Weatherford.
I think he was hoping that the move
Hey.
would fix everything. And I think his
You're all set.
was
You're all
separation.
done.
Everything would go
And
back
how would you
to
like to
quote,
pay?
normal.
With the
Karen
card on
is
file?
upset
Or
that
just
he is
another
unable
card?
to life and family.
The same.
But Craig
The
insists.
same? Okay.
It felt like home to her, and she made it very clear she didn't want to leave. But of course, he didn't care. He was the man in the family, and they were going to do what he said to do.
But when they move, Karen and Sonny's relationship simply continues long distance through emails
Or I have
and
my
visits.
card right here, if that's easier.
The
Okay.
affair is about to send the marriage off a
fake real flavor. It comes from care, craft, and a community. We're from Black Creek, and we're cheesemakers. We spent decades crafting real Wisconsin flavor.